What's up? My name is Julian Williams, and I take Expedite. Some days I walk into the gym, and I don't necessarily feel like working. Take a scoop or two of this, be ready to go. It's the best stuff I've ever had. Expedite.
Well, I'd like to welcome everyone back to Madison Square Garden to see the People's Champ coming back home. This is where we built Triple G's career here in the United States, at Madison Square Garden, at the Mecca of boxing. A lot of fighters, a lot of promoters don't take those type of chances when you're not sure the marketability, the saleability for tickets in this most famous arena in the world. Triple G has sold out the big arena 2 times. Ticket sales for the fans awaiting his return now have been a strong indication how badly they want to see him back in the ring. For the fans, the Triple G fans, it doesn't matter who he fights, they just want to see him in the ring. With this fight here against Steve Rolls, undefeated, hungry fighter from Canada, was associated with Emmanuel Stewart, naturally promoted by Lou DiBella, here local in New York. And for this fight, the first fight to kick off the DAZN multi-fight deal, Steve Rolls makes all the sense in the world. If Triple G, a lot of people are saying he just turned 37, a lot of people are saying, you know, now he's not as dominant as he once was. When I was negotiating with promoters and managers when he had his 23 knockout streak, people were negotiating like it was the last fight of their fighter's career. And now people seem to think they have a better chance of being in the ring with Triple G. The first time in his championship run that he went the 12-round distance was against Daniel Jacobs in this building. He knocked Daniel Jacobs down in the process. He went 12 rounds with Canelo twice. We personally think, everyone on the Triple G team thinks he won both of those fights, as does the majority of the fan base and the media. And that's why we crown him the People's Champion. You know, being back here in New York at Madison Square Garden, it's been over 2 years since the Danny Jacobs fight. The people at MSG, Joel Fisher, Sal Federico, Larry Torres, everyone at MSG says, you know, the fans in New York, they want to see him come back home. So with that, I want to introduce our host for this event. It's the Executive Vice President of Marquee Events and Operations for Madison Square Garden, our friend and big supporter, Joel Fisher.
Thank you, Tom, and good afternoon to everybody, and welcome to Madison Square Garden. We're extremely excited again to be here with you today for another great championship night of boxing at the Mecca of boxing. We just had a great fight this past weekend, and we look forward to another great fight on June 8th. As all of you know, we've been very fortunate to host some of Triple G's biggest fights here at MSG, dating back to his first fight in the theater against Gabe Rosado in 2013 to the last thrilling performance against Danny Jacobs here in the arena in 2017. So we couldn't be more excited and couldn't be more thrilled that GGG is back here, and we want to welcome our friend back to what will be his 6th fight here at Madison Square Garden. We have a great relationship with the entire team, with Tom, Gennady, Melissa, John, Thorsten, and his whole team. And it's great to have them all back here at what we consider, and I think hopefully they consider, their second home. So we look forward to working alongside them to make this a great promotion. Tom mentioned Sal Federico on my staff, and we certainly couldn't do all the boxing, and I couldn't do half the things I do if it wasn't for the great work of Sal Federico. So I really want to thank Sal for all of his great work. Tickets Tom mentioned, are on sale. They're very reasonably priced. They can be purchased at the Garden box office or at Ticketmaster. We want to, welcome his opponent here for the first time. We're sure it'll be a great fight, and he'll put on a great fight against Gennady. We want to welcome Joe and Peter and the whole team at DAZN. We're sure it'll be a great broadcast if you can't get here, but I strongly recommend that you come out for this fight to see Triple G fight here again at Madison Square Garden. We know there's going to be a tremendous amount of electricity in the building that night. We can't wait. It just is a string of a bunch of great boxing matches here at the Garden. Again, the only place where these guys really want to fight. If they're going to make it and be the greatest in boxing, they've got to fight here at the Garden. So we want to wish the best to both fighters. We are extremely excited that the fight is here, and we can't wait for June 8th. So thank you again for coming, and we look forward to seeing you on the night of June 8th for a great night of boxing. Thanks.
As Joel mentioned, here at Madison Square Garden, there's nothing like the ring entrance when Triple G walks into the ring. The electricity in the crowd, everyone cheering, up to the rafters of a sold-out arena. So we're definitely looking forward to coming back here, and we're excited about bringing Triple G versus Steve Rolls here to Madison Square Garden. These big type of events wouldn't be possible without a lot of different partners. One of Triple G's strongest supporters, global brand known around the world, goes along with his Mexican style of boxing, is Tecate. Tecate is one of the lead sponsors for this event. I'd like to bring up now to say a few words in charge of the brand of Tecate, Gustavo Guerra.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are incredibly proud to be the presenting and exclusive beer sponsor for this mega fight between Triple G and Steve Rolls on June 8th here at MSG. I'd like to first raise a Tecate to Tom Loeffler and everyone else at Triple G Promotions and to DAZN for setting up this great match. In one corner, you have Gennady Golovkin. Not only is he the #1 ranked middleweight boxer by the WBC, Triple G has sold more seats at MSG than any other boxer, more than 90,000 seats over the last 6 years. That's impressive. In the other corner is Steve Rolls, a true champion. Steve is undefeated and holds a USBA middleweight title, a worthy opponent for Triple G. This is a big fight, and fans couldn't be more excited. As such, Tecate promised to deliver a big and bold experience. From a celebrity boxer retail experience to a Tecate takeover at MSG and on-site consumer-friendly activations, Tecate makes the following promises during fight night. Wherever they see the Tecate logo on the ring, consumers will know that this will be a legendary fight, that Tecate will be bold, will bring a bold experience that brings consumers closer to the action. Gentlemen, as June 8th ticks closer and fight fans prepare to claim their corner, on this incredible fight, I would like to raise the beer to both fighters. On behalf of Tecate and Tecate Light, échenle ganas. Thank you so much.
I have to attest that when you see the Tecate logo on the ring, they've been one of the biggest supporters of the sport of boxing. As a global brand, as a brand synonymous with the sport of boxing, and to have them sponsor this event is an honor. They've been working with Triple G and Triple G Promotions now for a number of years, and we really appreciate, Gustavo, your support and your commitment to Triple G and his brand. And it really, the support of a brand like Tecate really brings it beyond the sport of boxing. Now, before I introduce our television host, there's only a few fighters in the world today that can sell out Madison Square Garden. This is it's the Mecca of boxing. It's the most famous arena. Everyone knows that. But it's one of the hardest arenas to sell out in the world. Canelo fought here in December, sold out Madison Square Garden. He's one boxer that can sell out the Garden. Anthony Joshua is coming here June 1. He'll sell out Madison Square Garden as the heavyweight champion of the world. Triple G has sold out MSG twice, and we're expecting a sellout June 8th. The one thing that all three of those boxers have in common is they've all signed with DAZN here for their fights in the United States. So with that, I'd like to bring up Joe Markowski to say a few words on behalf of DAZN.
Thanks, Tom, and thank you to Joel and our friends here at MSG for hosting us today. It's great to be back as we regularly are at the moment. June the 8th is another milestone moment for our early days here in the United States, and it marks Gennady Golovkin's highly anticipated debut on DAZN. As Tom mentioned, the first of a six-fight, three-year global partnership between ourselves and Triple G Promotions. And we're very excited about that because Gennady, without question, is an absolute powerhouse in the sport of boxing, a true knockout artist, and he's long been one of the sport's greatest talents. And we're very proud that the next chapter of his career and a key milestone in building his legacy will be with us at DAZN. We're thrilled to have him, as Tom mentioned again, alongside DAZN at the forefront of a new era of boxing with the top names in the sport signed to our platform. Together, those fighters, their promoters, and everyone at DAZN is committed to making fight sports as accessible and affordable as possible for those fight fans. Gennady's fight with the undefeated Steve Rolls is part of a massive spring and early summer schedule on DAZN that will consistently deliver fans marquee names and marquee fights. And as I know Joel was very happy about this, 3 weekends back-to-back here at the Garden, the world's most famous arena in the Mecca of boxing. Just 1 week before Triple G Rolls, British superstar Anthony Joshua will make his US debut here in the Garden, and just 1 week after this fight, Bellator will return to New York City, headlined by two MMA legends in Lyoto Machida and Chael Sonnen. That isn't even mentioning the rest of our April and May schedule. It's completely stacked. This weekend, exclusively on DAZN, you have the rematch between Surisaket Rungvisai and Juan Francisco Estrada. We then head to Vegas to show what I believe one of the top fights of the year in Canelo Danny Jacobs on the Cinco de Mayo weekends. Then our debut in the US for us of Alexander Usyk's heavyweight debut on May the 25th. All of that and more at an annual price of $99.99, more than 100 fights a year. Tremendous value for fight fans, it's without question. So I want to thank our friends and the partners on stage today, including both the fighters who helped put this fantastic event together. And we look forward to seeing all of you back here at MSG on June the 8th. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Joe. DAZN has really made a tremendous investment in the sport of boxing, bringing the best fights to the fans for a monthly subscription price. So we're excited about that. We're excited about the energy that they've infused into the sport, especially here in the United States. They've made a tremendous financial commitment to getting some of the biggest names in the sport of boxing. Having Anthony Joshua fight over here on DAZN, as I mentioned, Canelo Danny Jacobs are two opponents that Gennady has already fought, arguably has won all three of those fights. But with DAZN and the multi-fight deal that Joe described, we expect Gennady to continue fighting some of the highest profile fights in the sport of boxing. With that, it always takes two to tango. This isn't the Triple G show. This is Triple G versus Steve Rolls. We've always, with every Triple G promotion, we've always given his opponent a level playing field, a fair shake, whether it's on the promotion, negotiating the terms, whatever it is. We always want the person that's standing across the ring of Triple G to feel like he's really in this fight and has a fair shake at everything. A lot of times you deal with promoters and it seems to be kind of tilted one side. We've actually been subjected to that a couple of times. But for this, I have a very long friend in boxing, someone that I've known going all the way back to the HBO days. To say Lou DiBella was responsible for some of the best fights at the time in boxing. One that stands out in my mind is when Lou gave a featherweight, Kevin Kelly, who was actually the very first boxer that I worked with, who fought here at Madison Square Garden, I think it was like 18 times between the theater and the Garden, and Lou was responsible for putting on Kevin Kelly versus Nassim Hamed, one of the most iconic fights ever to take place in this building. I think there were 6 knockdowns in 4 rounds. And ever since then, since those days, you know, I've had a good relationship with Lou. I was happy to make this fight with Lou and DiBella Promotions. So with that, to introduce the Steve Rolls team, I'd like to bring up Lou DiBella to say a few words. Normally it doesn't take you that long to get to the mic, Lou.
Got a little extra weight on me these days. Thank you. This is an incredible opportunity. It's an incredible opportunity for fans on June 8th to see Triple G fight again at Madison Square Garden. This isn't only one of the best fighters in the world. This isn't only one of the best middleweights in the world. This is one of the best fighters of a generation. This is one of the best middleweights of history. This is a future Hall of Famer. He knows I'm a big fan. He's been a credit to the sport since he's been in it. He's gotten screwed royally. The first Canelo fight was an abomination. The second Canelo fight was a fight, and he only got screwed a little bit. To be at this level of fighting and to have experienced the highs and lows that he's gone through makes him something special. We know on June 8th that Steve Rolls is getting the opportunity to fight someone special. We know on June 8th that Steve Rolls, it's his Super Bowl. It's his moment. Is he up against it? Yeah, he's up against it. So is anybody else that walks in the ring with Gennady Golovkin. I don't want to scare my friends at DAZN, but this is going to be a fight. You know, they wanted a fight. They're getting a fight. You know, they also want to get to the big fight, and I know that. Steve knows that. Steve knows that people aren't banking on a Steve Rolls win. Nobody really wants a Steve Rolls win, except for the 4 people sitting right here. You know, this guy right here, he wants the opportunity to right a wrong. And you know what? There's a little part of me that if my guy wasn't sitting next to me, I'd be rooting for him too. You know, you're a guy like Gennady Golovkin, you've given your life to the sport, you think to yourself, maybe I deserve a little bit better than I've gotten. But you know what? What makes him great is the fact that he'll go in there every night and give everything he has. His career has been a monument to being a professional. But I'm promising you that the guy in the opposite corner on June 8th is a professional. And Tommy knows this. I worked pretty hard putting Rolls' name in for a long time. In fact, I've called Tom over the years every time there was an opportunity to get a middleweight in with Golovkin and said, look, you may not know him, but Steve Rolls is a hell of a fighter. And Steve will tell you a little bit more about himself when he gets up here. But this is a man, you know, he was one of the greatest amateurs in the history of boxing. Steve was no slouch. You know, Steve had 100 amateur fights, international level. He won 90% of those fights, roughly. He was an excellent amateur. He's a gym legend in Canada. He's well known in Canada. He's from Toronto. He's not a French-Canadian kid. It's hard to get a lot of publicity as a black fighter in Canada when you're not French-Canadian. But in Canada, they know that this man is a real middleweight and a real threat. He's a real fighter. Undefeated as a pro, he's never tasted defeat. He's never rolled over for anybody, to use a bad pun. And he's not going to roll over for Gennady Golovkin. He's going to go in there on June 8th. He's going to try to win. He's going to make it as tough a night as he can make it for Triple G, and may the best man win. We are extremely grateful to Triple G for this opportunity. And I think it's a better night for fans than getting some rehashed, opponent, the guy that's been out there that on paper can't win. You're better off knowing a little bit less maybe and finding out more about Steve. I think it's going to be a great night at June 8th. I think it's a great opportunity for fight fans in the tri-state area to get to see a once-in-a-generation kind of fighter, a guy that's a surefire first ballot Hall of Famer in Triple G. But it's also the opportunity to see an underdog get his chance, to see a guy that's worked real hard for 17 years to get an opportunity. And by the way, nobody was more surprised when he got that call and he said, we got the Triple G fight. He's been waiting a long time for a chance. He's been waiting a long time for his moment, his shot. But did he expect that it would come against a legend? He didn't think it was going to come against a legend. But I promise you that on June 8th, he's going to prove that he belongs with the best middleweights in the world, that he is a middleweight contender, and that he is capable of beating the best. I want to acknowledge his team, Todd Christie, his manager, Thomas Howard. Thomas is his trainer, and it's my pleasure to bring up Mr. Rolls. Not only a good fighter, not only a world-class fighter, a good man, a hard-working man, a professional in every way, and a guy that's going to make the most of this great opportunity he's been presented on June 8th. And thank you to DAZN, thank you to Madison Square Garden, and first and foremost, thank you to the great Gennady Golovkin.
Good afternoon, everyone. First off, I just want to thank God. I want to thank Triple G Promotions and his team. I want to thank DeBella Entertainment and DAZN for giving me this tremendous opportunity. I've been doing a lot of reading lately, and a couple of things I keep coming across is, who is this guy? And this is going to be a tune-up fight. Well, just to tell you a little bit about myself, I'm a guy that's been flying under the radar for quite some time now. A guy that's continuously had ups and downs in his career, but continued to push forward. I've been trying to get fights with guys in the top 20 to showcase myself to the fans and to the critics, and with the goal of eventually establishing myself as one of the middleweight elite. So I guess it's safe to say that I'm an underdog that's been hungry for this position. Make no mistake, this isn't a tune-up. I'm coming to fight. And with everybody just getting to know me now, after June 8th, you won't forget me. I got much respect for Gennady Golovkin, but I'm coming to shock the world. Thanks.
I can give a little analogy going back to Emanuel Stewart, who had such a tremendous run with Vladimir Klitschko as the second longest reigning heavyweight champion in the history of boxing, and that was Vladimir's second championship run. Emanuel always used to say, you have to be careful when we were going over a list of names. You have to be careful about the undefeated guys. You don't know how good they are because they haven't had someone who's beaten them. Another example would be Andre Ward, who entered the Super 6 tournament not as the favorite, undefeated guy. Carl Froch, Mikkel Kessler, Arthur Abraham, those were the favorites of that tournament. And who wound up winning that tournament? Andre Ward. So anyone looking, and Steve said, anyone looking at this as a tune-up fight, that's certainly not how Gennady is looking at this at all. This is a fight. This is the best middleweight in the world versus an undefeated, hungry middleweight that, as Lou said, Lou's called me a number of times to have Steve challenge Triple G in the past. So Steve hasn't shied away from this opportunity. The opportunity is now here on the biggest stage in boxing, in Madison Square Garden, on DAZN. It's going to be Usually Gennady's fights are in over 100 countries worldwide. So with that, I want to bring up the president and CEO of Triple G Promotions, the best middleweight in the world, the people's champion, the return of Triple G.
Thanks, Tom. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very happy, guys. Seriously, I wanna happy go back to sport. I wanna happy go back to Madison Square. You know, it's a very interesting time for me. I wanna say, first of all, thanks to my partner, to my huge company, TV company, DAZN. It's amazing time for sport, amazing time for boxing, special for boxing people. Of course, I want to say thank you, Madison family, because I feel this is my second home. You know, I had a lot of fights, huge time, just amazing time, amazing atmosphere in Garden. I love it. All my friends, all my fans, you know, from Madison. Thank you, Madison family. I want to speak a little bit Russian. Just maybe you more understand me. Just my friend Sergey, he helped me. Много было сказано о том, что мы вернемся, и это будет прекрасное шоу. Это абсолютно так.
A lot has been said that we will come back and it's going to be an incredible show, and this is the truth.
И я бы хотел бы выразить слова благодарности своему оппоненту Стиву Ролсу за то, что он решился участвовать в этом, я думаю, прекрасном шоу.
I would like to thank my opponent, Steve Rolls, for accepting the fight and agreeing to be part of this incredible show.
Можно много говорить как промоутеры, как спонсора, но я бы хотел бы сказать как спортсмен спортсмену.
You can say a lot as a promoter, but I would like to say it as a sportsman to a sportsman, as a fighter to a fighter.
Что бы здесь ни говорили, он понимает, и я понимаю, мы будем только вдвоем в ринге, и победит, я надеюсь, сильнейший.
It doesn't matter who says what, but it's going to be me against you in the ring, and the strongest man will win.
Я бы хотел пожелать ему удачи, и при любом раскладе, кто бы не выиграл, я бы хотел, чтобы мы оба вернулись здоровыми домой.
I would like to wish him good luck, and we'll see what happens on the night.
Это абсолютно интересное время, это тот момент, может, его не так много у нас осталось, но мы можем подарить своей публике, своим зрителям именно amazing show.
It's a very important moment. We might not have a lot of time left in our careers, but this is the time where we will be able to give our audience a good, big show.
И я призываю всех болельщиков бокса, всех болельщиков спорта не пропустить этот момент 8 июня.
I would like to say to all the fans of sport, all the fans of boxing, to not miss that night on June 8th.
Thanks for your attention. Just please welcome Madison Square Garden, June 8th. Please welcome. Thank you.
Look down, please, photographers, and up toward TV, please. Put the hand up in the platform. Face off.